here at Pete for a while, and then he moved to California. And I will let him share his story. He's come a long way. So you can share what you want to share.
All right.
Wherever you want to start.
So, basic overview. I was here at Pete for all 3 years, and then went to the high school, 10th grade. First semester I was there. Throughout my whole life, you can even ask Ms. Hosen, I've always wanted to be in the military. I guess every kid has always had that, at least a thought of joining, and it just stuck with me ever, like, throughout I was growing and going through school. And in 10th grade, before I moved to California, I was actually trying to get into an ROTC unit. Because if you actually get a chance to go to an ROTC unit, it will help you out throughout your military career. I think you said West had an Air Force one, right? And East had a Navy?
Army.
Or Army?
Yep.
Army, yeah. Either one will help you out in any branch of the military. For Marines, at least, you have to have 3 to 4 years in an ROTC unit, and it's just like another class. It's just like a regular second period or something. It's nothing like special, it's just another class. You learn basic military rules, I guess. They teach you yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, stuff like that. They teach you the basic movements, which really will help you out once you go to boot camp. And once I moved to California, I joined a Navy ROTC, and throughout high school, I went up in the ranks, and I actually graduated high school as the commanding officer of that unit down there. It was a small unit, no more than, say, 300 cadets, and that's what you'll be called, a cadet, since you're not an actual military personnel. But yeah, since I did 4 years, I started out at boot camp. I joined as a E2, that's a PFC in the Marine Corps. And I think in the Army and the Navy, if you have 3 or 4 years, you'll start as an E3. But Marine Corps, you guys probably know they're best, right? Well, yeah, they are. Yeah. So yeah, it's a little harder. But I talked to all the recruiters, Navy, Marine Corps, Army, Air Force. I didn't talk to National Guard, no. But what I can tell you is all the Marine Corps, Navy, all the recruiters for every branch will pretty much tell you a general thing: education. What they can do for you education-wise, how they can help you pay for it, and just how you can manage your schooling and your job at the same time. And basically, what I was thinking when I went in the Marine Corps was I wanted to get away from school. Because I did not like school. I hate school. School is like the last thing on my mind. Like high school, graduation, Marine Corps, out. No, that ain't it. I'm just a little under 2 years in the Marine Corps, and I'm still doing schooling. I'm still getting my education. Because my platoon sergeant, he's one of my bosses, I guess you would say. And he's making sure his Marines are able to better themselves as, well, I'm a junior Marine, so as his junior Marines, he's making sure that his Marines are able to better themselves so they can pick up rank faster and overall just be educated and be able to get a good job out in the civilian life. So yeah, schooling is going to be a lot of part of it. In the Marine Corps, there's these classes on the computer. They're called Marine Net classes. And depending on which ones you do, they also count as college credits. So I guess it's a little faster. You just like just put your mind to it and just go through a little course, depending on how fast you do it and how much credentials you have to do. It will take you an hour, 3 hours. The most I've actually spent on a Marine Net class is about 4 hours at a time. And that was to get me through another course in the Marine Corps. And that's for me, the one I took was for a Humvee license. You know, those big trucks that you see with the big gun on top? Yeah, I drive that. I'm also trying to get my 7-ton license, which is that, she got that big, that truck with the gun, and it's the bigger one. It's like the big green one that you would see. Yeah, I'm trying to get that one, but I can't get that one until I'm NCO, which is E4 and above. Bless you. And so yeah, before you go through that and actually get your career started, you gotta go through boot camp. Boot camp for the Marine Corps at least is 13 weeks. And I think I had a little bit of an edge on most of the other recruits over there because my parents are divorced. So I was able, went with one parent and then went with the other. I wasn't in one place at one time for too long. I was always away from one parent, and it was just easier on myself. Most recruits at the time, it was their first time away from home. First time away from the parents and on their own. And the first time, just basically like set, this is what I'm gonna do. And then you got a lot of guys in your face screaming at you. And you guys seen the Marine Corps drill instructors just screaming stuff? Yeah, it's scary. And what I've noticed in the first 5 minutes is the drill instructors, it's like they're attracted to noise. So I would be screaming at you, and I'm the only drill instructor screaming at you. 5 others would just appear. It's crazy. But yeah, it's 13 weeks long, and it's just progressive training. In boot camp, you learn MCMAP, which is Marine Corps Martial Arts Program. There's 7 belts, and you learn your first belt, which is a tan belt. You have to obtain the tan belt in order to graduate. You have to go through the rifle range. You got to learn how to shoot, how to manipulate your weapon system, depending on which one you get. If you end up being a young buck and just too short to handle an M16, then you get an M4. And then once you get to further along in the training of boot camp, you have what is called a team week. The 13 weeks, and each week there's a different, subject for that week that the drill instructors have to try to instill in you, I guess you would say. Team week is basically, you would wake up, go to chow. Chow is what they call food. Go to chow, come back, you PT. Yeah, that's what really sucked the most for me. PT was right after chow. So you would eat, and for my platoon at least, you weren't able to look around. So you would just sit there, head down, one hand right here, and just eating. Can't look up, can't reach for your napkin, only use one hand. It's crazy. But team week, you would go to chow, PT, and the drill instructors would take you to this little office, and you go in the office and there's this whiteboard of all these jobs and places that you would have to do. And team week is basically just you working for other people for a few hours on that base. And since you guys are on the west side of the Mississippi, you would be going to San Diego Recruit Depot. If you're on the other side, you go to Parris Island and do stuff over there. But personally, there's always going to be a little argument between Parris Island Marines and San Diego Marines to see which Marine is better, because Parris Island, what they have over there, they have swamps and sand fleas. And San Diego, throughout your training, you're going to go to Camp Pendleton, and you're going to have to hike with about an 80 to 100 pound pack on your back, and you have to hike up these hills. And frankly, I think hiking up a hill is a lot worse than hiking through water, because Parris Island, they hike that way. Me, I hike that way. So it's a little bit harder, but got through boot camp, graduated. I was the company guide. So what you're going to notice is there's the platoon, and then there's going to be one guy, there's going to be 3 squad leaders, or 4 actually, which are the front 4 guys. The front 4 guys that lead everyone else under the drill instructors. And then you got the guide, which is in charge of the squad leaders, in charge of the platoon, and does whatever the drill instructors have them do. And I was the company guide, which I guess I was in charge of all the other guides under the company. So I was the company guide, graduated, and then I went to SOI, which is School of Infantry, because what I went in as a 0311, it's an infantry rifleman, and it's basically, how do I explain it? You see those movies where you see a war or a little gunfight, and you see those crazy guys that are just running towards the guys that can still getting shot at? Yeah, that's me. I will be doing that. And so I went to SOI. It's 8 weeks long, and it's split up into 2 halves. Your first half, you learn the basic O3 package, how to shoot multiple weapon systems, and how to hike, how to hygiene properly in the field. You're gonna be in the field a lot if you're an O3 grunt, is what they call it. And then if you're not gonna go in the O3 field, you're still gonna go to SOI, but you're gonna go to what they call MCT, which is Marine Corps Combat Training. It's somewhat the same thing, but you don't get as in-depth teaching and as a lot of trigger time. Trigger time is where you just shoot the weapon. I like to shoot, but I don't like cleaning the weapon. That's something you just gotta do. And so graduated SOI, and then 9/11 is when I graduated. 9/11, I flew out to Virginia. Virginia, I went to what they call MAT platoon. It's Marines Awaiting Training. I was in MAT for about a month and a half, and then I picked up into BSG, Basic Security Guard course. And I learned what I'm doing now, just taking a very important building to America, which holds American assets, very important people. I go in there, I make sure everything is cleared out, I get everyone out that's not supposed to be in there, and I make sure I set up a perimeter, and I make sure everything is safe. What we do to do that is, have you guys heard of concertina wire? You have. What is concertina wire?
I can't.
Kind of like barbed wire, right?
Yeah, it's like not.
But instead of a straight line, it's like curled
Yeah,
up.
it's
yeah?
like
a spring.
it's not braided, but it's like twisted up.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
I take concertina wire, we call it C-wire, and I make a whole perimeter, whole 360 around the building, or multiple buildings. And it's really sharp, and it really sucks if you get cut by it. And then through the C-wire, I got to put barbed wire. That's to make sure, like, once the C-wire is down, no one can come in, take the C-wire, and just run away with it. And then there's a hole in the perimeter, which people could come in, and then I would have to get them out and then put the C-wire back up. The barbed wire is there to hold it in place to make sure nothing is done with it. And then once I graduated BSG, then I went to and currently am at my first duty station. It's I'm with the FAST Alpha anti-terrorist or fleet anti-terrorist team. I basically, well, through security guard course, you have two choices. Choices that you don't really get to pick. You can either go and secure nuclear bases, which we have all our nukes at, it's kind of self-explanatory, and or you can protect embassies, which have our very important assets and relations in other countries. So that's where I'm at now, and right now I'm on leave, and it's for my pre-deployment leave. In the next few weeks, I will be going to Spain. I'll be in Rota. Be going over there doing what I do, everything that I've been training. I've been training, doing a workup. A workup is pretty much all the training you got to do before you deploy. Everything that I've done here, I'm just going to be basically doing over there. Making sure everything's safe and no one is getting any ideas to, you know, blow something up or anything. Even though that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, that's what I've done. That's from school until now. Yeah, are there any questions?
How long will you be in Spain?
Spain? I'll be up there for at the most 7 months.
Do you contact home?
Every once in a while, because I have to turn my phone off and shut down the contract I have, which I'm able to do, unless I want to keep it on and then raise a big phone bill, and I don't want to pay that.
Right.
So yeah.
Can you contact them by computer, by Skype?
Oh yeah, Skype. If you have Wi-Fi calling, that works too. It doesn't cost you anything. Connect anywhere to Wi-Fi, you'll be able to do that. It's not that hard. Just gotta be a little computer savvy, I guess.
What's something you would tell your junior high self?
My junior high self?
When you were here at Pete, what would you tell yourself now? Don't get in any more fights. Yeah, when I was in here, I was got in a few fights, and it really is, it's not worth it. It just makes it really harder and harder for you to actually do what you got to do. Because what you're doing here is you're just building a building block. It's the foundation of what you want in your life. If you want to be known as a fighter and a drug addict, then if that's what you did in school, that's what you're going to do your whole life. And so I had a few fights, which I'm not really proud of, and then I actually caught it early enough that I was actually able to correct myself and got on a better path, and now I'm here standing in front of you guys as a United States Marine. So, yeah.
Is most of what you do co-ed?
Co-ed?
Yeah.
In the Marines, the training is not co-ed. The females and males are separated for training, at least for basic, and then once you go to your actual first duty station, that's when you guys will come together and do your job. That's mainly for just, I guess for the males, like, oh, she looks really pretty. And then your mind isn't focused on what you got to do. And depending on what you're doing, if you don't do your job right, it can cost other Marines' lives. So that's why they separated them for training. And then once you're doing your actual job, it almost comes like second nature. And then by that time, your head's a little on more straight than usual, and you just do it. And then once you get off, then you can go and do whatever you do. So yeah.
He had told me that if you are interested in it now, kind of as you get through, ninth grade into high school, meet up with like a recruiter in whatever branch. If you don't know, meet up with all of them and see what kind of things that you could do now to help you prepare. So like there's a senior right now that I'd had here who's actually with a Marine recruiter, and he's given him like workouts and things to get him ready for boot camp, which he's gonna go to like in the spring or something, once he graduates.
Yeah. When I hooked up with my recruiter, I actually got in contact with the recruiter down in California. I went to PT there, which is physical training. It's just your basic PE, I guess. You're running, push-ups, sit-ups. They have all these other exercises, mountain climbers, hello dollies. It's just really fast-paced, and really the only time you would get a break, well, at least in boot camp, is when you're done and you're actually laying down in your rack bed and just sleeping. But for the recruiter, depending on how they work, their SOP, it would be just, well, to do it here, I was shipped out of here. What happened was, in California, I went through MEPS, which MEPS you will learn to just sit around and wait till you're called, and just sit around and sit around and sit around. I went through MEPS there, and then what they did for me was they did a courteous ship, which is one station would call another station and be like, hey, I got a guy that's coming over there to where you're at. Do you mind shipping him off to boot camp and taking one of your spots? And they'll talk, and it was all right. And I came over here, spent a little time with my family, and then I was shipped off. So that's a little thing they do as well. It's kind of cool, I guess. It's not an option I would suggest because it took a little more time paperwork-wise, but it was worth it for me at least.
Do you want to show them like the uniforms and stuff that you wear?
Yeah.
You guys can, the screen wasn't working properly.
For the Marine Corps, there's multiple uniforms, which in boot camp you're going to have to learn. So we have dress blues, dress blue alphas, Bravos, Charlies, Deltas, and then we got service alphas, Bravo, Charlie, Deltas, and then we got the desert desert camis, which is basically your everyday work uniform, and then we got the woodland everyday work uniform depending on the season and where you're at.
You guys can go over if you want.
Right now what I got up is service alphas. This is basically your business uniform. Every time you would go from one unit to another, you would put on your service alphas and check in. It's pretty much how would you say, the first, what was that? What am I looking for? First what? When you first meet someone? First impression. There we go, first impression. It's like, okay, well, for me, I'll put me for instance. I'm a Lance Corporal, E3, and so what I have is I have a chevron, looks like a point, and then cross rifles in the middle. And I have some ribbons, and what they're gonna look is they're gonna look at you like, all right, Lance Corporal Walton, he's been in for so long, he's done this and this and this. Look at your uniform, look, make sure it's on point, nothing's messed up about it, you don't have any IPs, which are called Irish pendants, which I have no idea how they came by that name. But it's just little strings on your uniform you just gotta get rid of. Yeah, right now this is what I got up as the service alphas, and personally, I like this one the most, but then again, it also is the most uncomfortable uniform. I don't like to be in it all the time. See, this is the Dress Blue Alphas. Nope, that one's Bravos. It's the one you would see on the Marine Corps commercials. You know, all the Marines in line, you know, doing the drill with the rifle and swinging it. Yeah, that's what they're wearing. And just all the stuff that you just would learn through boot camp and just gonna obtain throughout those 13 weeks. So yeah.
Is there anything else to ask?
Any closing questions?
Is anyone thinking about joining the military?
Nope, I'm not planning on. I would fail. I would die within a second.
Which branch? Do you know, or just a general idea?
Air Force.
Air Force?
Air Force?
Navy.
Navy? Navy? Alright.
No Marines?
How about you, Jack?
Me?
Yeah,
I already said Navy.
you already said. What about you, Bo?
Army.
Army? Cool.
Miss Edgerton has 2 sons, twin boys, that are going to be going off to train for the Marines boot camp.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's give them a hand.